we are all about saving lives and marriages. And here I want us to understand that for this month, we are in for a ride because our guests are amazing speakers. They are amazing. They are experts in their field. We've celebrated the month of love. But one thing we need to understand is that it's beyond the flowers, the chocolates, the grand gestures, and all of that. So our guests will be letting us know the true meaning of love in marriage. That it's not just, it's even make us understand all those misunderstanding we've had of the way we've misused love. They will let us know. So without much ado or delay, I'll be introducing our first guest, none other than Madam Modupe Ehirim, which we fondly call her Mommy Mo, the founder of and lead counselor at the Right Fit Marriage Academy. She works with men and women to become persons that their spouses look forward to coming home to. Did you hear that? Using the Right Fit Marriage Program, Modupe guides young professionals to intentionally design and build healthy and long-lasting marriages. She's a certified TIMBIS. The assessment gives you a personalized roadmap to making your marriages everything it was meant to be. She is also a certified family system engineering practitioner. The network of FSC practitioners comprises professionals who work to restore dignity to human relationships in marriage, parenting, and family life. Madam Modupe has varied experiences. She graduated with first-class honor in chemical engineering from University of Ife. Now, if I want to read, I will have to go on and on and on. But the truth is that Mommy Mo is an avid reader. She's passionate about relationship and marriages. She mentors young people, helping them to charter their lives path. She teaches on marriage topics daily in the Right Fit Marriage Academy, a Facebook community that currently has over 19,000 members. She's also the counselor on the popular weekly relationship and marriage show, Mama's Corner. Oh, mommy, I need to pause because I'm just loving this. She is the author of Marriage is Not a Trap and 30 Reasons Why Couples Quarrel About Money. Oh my God. See, I'm itching to say more, but you need to sit and hear mommy speak. Let me just hold on because together we are going to unravel with the help of mommy the understanding, the deeper meaning of what love truly is. Mommy Mo, welcome to family meeting.
Thank you very much, Blessing. Good evening, everybody. I'm delighted to be here.
Mommy is delighted to be here, and I know mommy wants a lot for us. Please, I want us to light up as we welcome her, show her love because you're in for something you wouldn't be able to get ordinarily. You're going to get today free of charge. Again, I'll be welcoming our second guest, Juwon Odutayo. He's the lead coach at iNurture, a certified family life coach and master NLP practitioner with over 15 years of experience in supporting families through counseling, education, and intervention. He is passionate about fostering healthy family dynamics, enhancing communication, and empowering individuals to overcome challenges both in career and family life. He is the founder of iNurture Academy, an online school geared towards building quality family life in Africa and the world at large. He is a publisher who has authored 10 books and produced 2 short films. He is proficient in developing personalized treatment plans, conducting therapeutic sessions, and collaborating with multidisciplinary teams to ensure holistic family care. He's a husband of one gorgeous wife, and a father to two amazing champions. I believe you're all with me. You've heard these profiles. It means you are in for a transformative meeting. I want us to light up the comment, give them a warm welcome, and appreciate them. It is not easy, it is not. And without delay, mommy, I'll be starting with you because I know the same way I'm itching, other people are equally itching. We're excited to have you here, and we don't want to wait to dive into today's conversation because we encourage everyone to stay engaged and drop your question in the chat as mommy speaks and as Juwon speaks. Mommy, I will start with asking you, what is real love beyond emotions and attraction? And I will let you take the stage.
Thank you very much, Blessing. When I saw that topic, I just shook my head, again. I think that there is no answer to that question. And I say that with all sense of responsibility. If you look at 100 years ago, the likelihood is that you would be born into a community, you will grow up in that community, and you will die in that community. The vision of everybody in that community is not beyond. In fact, in Yoruba land, where I come from, outside your community is called Enyodi. What will you be going to look for there? So it meant that over generations, people look at life the same way, have the same perspectives, and so on and so forth. But when you come to answer the question love in this century that we are living in now, the two huge errors are made. The first error is that somehow, because of media, because of movie, because of songs, we have all been made to believe that love is the emotion that we are feeling. Love is, I would say, how you show affection to people that you care about. That's the technical meaning of it. Religious people also have meanings for it. But however, in today's world, what love means is determined by your origin, your life experiences, your exposure, as well as your significant, all of what has happened to you. So what it means is that if myself and Juwon are here now to say what is love, we can say very different things and we all will be right. So to answer your question, when people say what is love, my response to them is there is no universal definition of love. However, if you keep in mind that when you're using the word love, what you're thinking of is, how is this person showing me that they care for me? How am I showing them that you care for me? So I'm going to use parents and children, so you have parents who have sacrificed and spent a lot of money to look after their children, send them to school. And then in today's world, because they're not hugging and doing all of those things, then their children will say that their parents don't love them. All that is happening there is that the parents are demonstrating love in the way that they understand and in the way that they have been shown. And the children are wanting love in the way that the world is now defining love, which they see all around them. Now imagine somebody coming from one background. Also, if we go to marriage now, where this was the way love was defined in their community, and all of that, and marrying somebody who has come from another community, the confusion continues to materialize. So I would say, what is love? The way in which I show affection to other people, the way in which I show other people that I care. Before I just keep quiet, there's something else also that has happened. Now that we have begun to educate people this way, most people are thinking, Blessing, you should love me the way that I want to be loved. And that seems to be a valid request. The challenge is, if I meet Blessing, let's say I'm a man, and we begin to have a relationship together, and I'm expecting her to show me love the way I now understand that I show love, and blessing is coming from some other place. Can blessing actually begin to show me love right away in the way that I want? Or should all of us become people who look at love two ways? Yes, I want to be shown love this way, but what has my partner been exposed to? And how can we both work together to get a commonly understood definition of love that will work for the two of us?
I believe we got that. Mommy said something, said, we demonstrate love in the way we understand and have been shown. So, how have you been showing love all this while? How have you been demonstrating love all this while? If you don't know, please, this is the time to ask the question. Say it, ask it, and you will get clarity. Because except we ask, we will not get clarity. You have a lot, the moment has a wealth of knowledge to share with us. So please don't hold back. Ask your question. Now, Mom, thank you very much. Now, moving on to Juwon, how does a healthy view of love impact marriage?
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. Let me first quickly say that I'm not particularly sure whether you guys like me when you pair me with mommy more, because I don't know I'm going to say anything contrary to what my mommy is saying. So it's a challenge that you have placed me to. I mean, you guys should see size before you. So
Don't worry,
what I'm
Juwon,
going
you are able and capable.
because of what you guys have done, every question you ask, I will just be saying, so as mommy said, so get ready for it this evening.
Juwon, we want
Anyway,
the male perspective. Thank
all
you.
right, male perspective, no problem, that's fine. And I mean, let me just draw. No, this is not because of what I said, but let me draw from what mommy Mo just said. And just to buttress that point, because love is actually difficult to define. And this is just a practical example. And this is something that happened to me. I think a few weeks back, I mean, we had an event, and one of the exercises that was done at that event was they passed cards around. And in that card was write one significant thing that makes you know that your spouse genuinely loves you. So my wife was in that meeting. And so she wrote, but she didn't turn in her card. This is her card. I don't know if you can see it. This is her card. So the following day, while I was going to bed, I just checked her bedside cupboard and I saw the card. She didn't give it to me. I just stumbled upon it, and I'm going to read what she wrote. She actually wrote two. They said one. They asked for one. She wrote two. And so here's what my wife wrote. One significant thing that my spouse does that makes me know that they genuinely love me. One, he's always looking out for me. Two, he prays for me daily. Oh, I said two. She wrote three. Three is my greatest cheerleader. So when I saw the card, remember, she didn't give it to me. When I saw the card and I read it, I'm like, oh, wow. These are the things. Now, I do a number of things, but these are the three things that my wife wrote down. I picked the card. It's in my folder and my jotter. It's a reminder on a daily basis that this is what speaks love to my wife, and this is what I should continue to improve upon. That may not be my definition for love from her, but this is a report card for me. In fact, when she got back to the room, I said, this thing, why didn't you give it to me? Is it not supposed to be my property? And then she laughed. Anyway, I grabbed it. And I mean, I could bring it out right now because it's by my desk. And it's a reminder on a regular basis. If I'm going to ask myself, how am I going to show love to my wife right now? I'll just check, continue to look out for her. And then when she says, he prays for me daily, Since that time, I didn't miss a day because that's what's communicating love to her. So when Mommy Mo says that from your experiences, from your background, that's what it means. You may ask, I've done this exercise for like on a regular basis. Put a couple together and ask them to define love. They write different definitions. The definitions are not always the same. And it's not that, and there are no wrong answers. And so everybody is defining based on their personal experiences, based on their what they've been through, their background, how they've been raised. That's how they define it. Now, how does it impact relationship? I'm going to say that the way it impacts is enormous. I mean, we cannot fully unpack it, but it's customized to each individual. So if every spouse or every partner will not take the time to, I mean, if they are not going to tell you, have conversation about it, that how would you like me to treat you better? How would you like me to love you? If you don't take the time and assume that the person you're trying to love, that the person you're trying to be with is like you'll be making a huge mistake. Because love is intentional. And intentionality will mean I actually speak in the language that you will understand. And so when we don't do that, it impacts marriage, it impacts relationship negatively. But when we do that, we continue to grow and we continue to get better in that exercise. Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Juwon. You see, we know why we paid you with money more. It's because we just needed the male perspective. And we love you, we don't hate you,
Thank
Thank
you, I
you.
understand.
Appreciate that. You see, there's that for our every participant, I want you see the different perspective that we've gotten. So if you have been struggling with understanding love with your spouse, you've gotten mommy's perspective and you've gotten Juwon's perspective. Now, mommy, I want to say this. Most times people struggle with love because the same love they fell for hurts them. But the thing is that most times they ask, is it really true that love is real or something else? Because I'm trying to drive at is that there are common myths about love that couple needs to unlearn. Mommy, with your wealth of knowledge, what do you have to tell us about this? Because before we even move to any other aspect, there's a lot of myths about love that people are still struggling with. So how would couples unlearn? How do we need those myths about love? What should couples do? And how do we go about this aspect?
Okay. I think now I've been working with couples for 9 years now. And I've worked with couples that have been married for as long as 27 years. When I was answering your first question, I alluded to something that the environment in which we do marriage has changed. One of the common myths that creates great obstacles for people in marriage is that we use labels to identify people. So when a Yoruba man is marrying a Yoruba woman, there's an assumption that they're speaking the same language, they have the same culture, they know the same things. When an educated person is speaking to an educated person, there's an assumption that they both are graduates, they both are enlightened, and all of those kind of things. And so in looking at people, we tend to put a lot of labels on them. And those labels are from our own history, from our own background, and all of those kind of things. And so when people come together in marriage, until very recently, and you and I know because we belong to the Institute of Family Engineering and Development, even we are still researching and exploring what we have found out. There is an assumption that people marry people who they know. There's a huge assumption. But what I tell my premarital clients is that if you are 30 and you met your girlfriend at 27, that means you know her for 3 years. The question is this: the remaining 27 years that she has lived, that has made her who she is, what do you know of that? The danger with not having that perception is that You're going to be interpreting whatever your partner does based on your own filter. One, that is your own experiences. The second thing that you're going to be using to interpret is you're going to be thinking, she's a 27-year-old. This is the way a 27-year-old should behave. Now, the question is, this 27-year-old, what was she exposed to? Is she fully an adult, or are there areas of her life where she's still a child? And I mean that, so I give a practical illustration. I had a couple with me once, and what the ladies complained to us is that her husband takes financial decisions without involving her. And if you listen to that, you're going to look at the husband and you're going to start saying, and she was really pained about it. I have an assessment I do called independent living assessment. Those are skills that an 18-year-old should have mastered. I had the two of them do it. Self-assessment is not me, so you just look at it and you will score yourself. And in that assessment, the lady saw that she had literally no money management skills. So I then said to her, now that you know this about yourself, would you, if you were your husband, would you take advice from you? And she said no, and then I turned to the husband. Now that you know what is wrong with your wife, is withholding information from her the best way to address this issue? And he said, even though I'm frustrated, I see now that it is not so. Now, if those people never took that assessment and they didn't come to me, you and I know the distance that he takes decision without me, he's very stingy, would go, and so on and so forth. And conclusion, he doesn't love me. And they will hurt one another in a lot of ways. So the truth really is, even for those who are already married now, there is an intense need in today's world for you to sit down and look at you don't wait until you go to counsel, or even begin to ask yourself, who am I? What do I know? These things I believe. Every time I speak, I say something. There are some questions I ask myself like every 3 months, maximum 6 months. Modupe, what do you believe? Why do you believe it? Are there people who don't believe it in this world? Is their life necessarily the worse for it? What am I trying to do? I keep trying to find out, am I seeing life only through my own filters? Because if you are in a marriage, or if you are in any relationship, friendship, chances are that if you don't know your partner very well, you're going to be interpreting their behavior, their words, using your own filter. And you'll be making assumptions about them. And sometimes they're not hurting you, but you are interpreting their actions as hurt because as them hurting you. Once you begin to be aware of who you are and you realize that the things that shaped you are different from your partner's own, you will come to one conclusion, which is that there is no way you will not have conflict. Conflict becomes something that you just accept. It's not a bad thing. Conflict is just showing you that Juwon, I've been with Juwon for 5 years now. If we're still pulling one another this way on this issue, maybe there is something I don't know about Juwon. Instead of letting conflicts become, I will not agree, I will push you, you will push you, it becomes a, I need to be curious. What has shaped my partner to make them respond in this way, which I don't understand at all? And when people begin to engage in fact, if you find any couple who has stayed a long time in marriage and who is visibly happy, know that they've done that work. Many older people are not able to explain it to us. And so sometimes we think that, they allow a lot of foolishness. No, it's not that they allow a lot of foolishness. It's that if you married a blind man and you are now staying with him, what is the benefit of you crying every day that is making you to fall into a ditch? What did you expect from a blind man? Or if you married a cripple and you are now expecting him to carry you on your back, and carry him well. You will cry. It's not, what you can do is you can find out if a person is crippled, what can you do? So the illustration I usually use for people is if the person who knows the way to where you're going is a blind man, the person can tell you turn left, turn right. However, because you know that they are not sighted, it is now your business to be looking around so that if the person says go straight and you see ditch, you will not go straight, you will hold them by the hand and you will go in a direction where both of you will not fall on the ditch. What we currently do in relationships and in love is, we know the man is blind. He says go forward. We go forward. We fall into the ditch together. We now turn to him and we begin to scold him. So we need to become students of ourselves first. And for those of us who are married, I beg you, the reason why you have to do this work for yourself, whether your partner is willing or not, is because you need to understand what I've just shared, and you need to begin to teach your young people, because the world that they are going to live in, the people they're going to choose to marry are even more strangers than we were. They will be marrying people that they don't have anything in common with, and they'd be facing more difficult problems. If you can figure it out, you can help the young people around you to begin to figure it out now.
Mommy, thank you very much. I want to be there. I'm chatting with one of us here, and she's telling me I'm here to learn. A lot of us are here to learn, though. So I don't know if
I am here to learn as well.
Let me come in here. Thank you very much, Mommy Mo, for that beautiful illustration. Talking about the blind, the lame, and all that. And I think in the name of love, you are the one that sees, right? Let me use the word. You can see, and the man is taking you into the ditch, or the woman is taking you into the ditch, and you're going in the name of love. So what Mommy Mo is saying now is we need to, you love this person, but that does not mean you should. So Mommy Mo, how can, because we have quite a number of married people on this call this evening, how can they do it without hurting the other person? You know, how it can be in marriage and all the drama and all that.
Well, in these days, I teach younger people. And one of the things I say to them is that there are tools that marriage requires. There are skills that marriage requires. Number one skill that marriage requires is you must be somebody who is able to say what is on your mind, what is worrying you, what you are anxious about, but you must learn how to say it in a manner that helps the other person understand clearly what you are saying. The second thing that you must also be able to do is that freedom you are giving yourself to express yourself fully, you must also be able to extend it to other people. So you are willing to speak, but you must also become somebody who is willing to allow your partner to speak. Now, when I share that, I tell them, it's not the words we're speaking. So Modupe Ehirim is speaking to you now. She's using words, but do you know what she's speaking? She's speaking from 60 years of her parents' marriage experience, 50 years of her parents-in-law's marriage experience, 4 years of being a mother-in-law, a lot of study and reading and everything. So when I speak and it's sounding wise, it's really because I have a lot of exposure. And you have to do that. Praise usually says assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. When you just look at somebody who does something to you and you immediately believe, I know why they did that. Let me tell you, you are hurting yourself. Remember what I said. I have now been married to my husband. This year it will be 40 years. Now I have lived more years with my husband than I lived before I met him. But in the 3rd year of our marriage, in the 10th year of our marriage, I had lived 3 years with him. I had known him, I think, for 5 years before that time. So it means that there was 20 years of my life that he was still trying to figure out. In fact, one interesting thing happened with me and my husband when we got married. He said, shall we do money together? I say, yes. Then he said, let's do a budget. And I agreed. And the good man kept on asking me, have you put everything in the budget? And I said, yes. But I was not somebody who was familiar with budget. 3 months later, I was accusing him of hurting me and not giving me enough money. And he was worried because the way I was managing money, he was just sure. In fact, he said, I'm not sure that I will last in this marriage if you continue that way. So hurting yourself, being in conflict is just part of the territory because the person you have married is a stranger. So there are many assumptions that you are making that you know your partner. You've got to be honest with yourself. You don't know your partner enough to conclude that those things they're doing. Let us remove threats to life. Let us remove domestic violence and so. But for many of the other challenges, I've now become a mother-in-law. You know, after I became a mother-in-law, I didn't quite know how to relate with my son-in-law and my daughter-in-law. And I was just thinking, all those things I read where people will be saying my mother-in-law is wicked. I say, hi, it's very easy for my daughter-in-law to conclude so too. Because I just was clueless. I started to know her after she married my son. I didn't know her culture. I just didn't know anything about her. Now, if she does something wrong and I say she's a bad girl, what's the basis of that? The basis of that statement is my own filter. Until I get to know her, so when things happen that make me offended, instead of being angry, I should be curious. What is it that I don't still know about this person? Just making that assumption slows you down, allows you to give grace, allows you to stand in the shoe of the person and do some empathy. Is it easy? No. Why is it difficult? Because we all have been in some way made to believe that, one, everybody who we marry is already an adult. Everybody who we marry is mature in every way. Everybody who we married knows all the things that we know and sees life as we see it. And so we're having expectations of somebody who perhaps is still a child in the area that we are having those expectations.
Thank you very much, Mommy Mo. Juwon, Mommy Mo said something when she was responding to this question. She said something about the number of years. So we will say she's speaking wisdom, right? But she has talked about the number of years she has spent in gathering what we call wisdom. Now I want you to talk about what happens to us as early couple. We just expect the honeymoon to continue, not getting ready for the changes that happens along the line. I'm trying to make us go this route to lay the foundation so that people will know. I know, was it you or did you show me that said something about by the time we're getting married, we're not thinking about the pregnancy stage that will change the behavior. After the wedding, the guy is trying to sort the bills, the debt that was incurred during the wedding and all that, and not paying attention to this. This is where some of the changes start. And we start saying, okay, he's starting. Don't let me put all my eggs inside one basket, And so everybody is now going into marriage with an edge to say, we don't even know how it will end. Oh, I read something. He's showing the sign already, right? And this is how we start. Little by little, the lady becomes pregnant. Don't touch me and all that. The guys start withdrawing, seeing it as rejection. How do you think? So I want you to educate us and let us know, because I don't believe that love that we had when we were dating was gone. It's just the situation that changes. So how do you want to advise us to handle the stages of marriage?
Okay, thank you for the question. One of the key things we have to note is the fact that if you're looking at marriage, you are supposedly looking at forever. So you're probably looking at 50, 60, 70 years with this person. All right. So it's not like you are entering that marriage and after 1 year you want to walk out. I don't know. I mean, hardly will you find anybody who goes through all the preparation that they go through, do the ceremony, thinking I'm getting married in 2025, by 2026, I'm going to walk out of it. I mean, we don't go in with that mindset. So if you don't go in with that mindset, you must also learn to also go in with the mindset of trying to learn with a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. Mommy talked about filters, and it happens like clockwork in interpersonal relationships. If I'm from a family where my sister married an Igbo person and the Igbo man treated her badly, it's a filter. So it probably now colors my perspective about Igbo people. So when people say men has come, they're just talking about the men they've been with. So because it doesn't mean that all the 5 billion men in the world has come. Do you understand? So when we understand that the person that you are with, the person you're in a relationship with is from another person, is from another background, and you are from another upbringing, then let us go in with a growth mindset, with an open mind to wanting to learn. That my perspective will be different from this perspective. So I may need to learn a lot more about my partner. Like if I see certain tendencies, I should ask questions. So we must, I've seen a couple of questions, I mean, 1 or 2 questions in the chat box based on what Mommy Mo has said. And I'm thinking it would be a fixed mindset to think that you're going to be one person and you won't have conflict or quarrel. Because if your mindset is about the fact that this is a learning, an opportunity for me to understand my partner better, then you will embrace conflict. You will embrace disagreement that, okay, if we disagree on this point, then make me understand why you see it the way you see it. In other words, rather than confronting, can we have conversations? Rather than do confrontations, can we have conversations? Confrontation is like an attack. You are condemning the person, you're judging the person based on your own beliefs and perspectives. Conversation is inquiry. Let me give an example. Okay, my partner comes late, for instance. You always come late. That's a confrontation. You can see my finger. You always come late. You are always doing this. This is what you always do. That is a confrontation. If you want to do conversation for that same issue, it will be, this is how I feel when you don't come on time. Is there something we can do about it? Then you have opened that conversation line to that person to let us talk, okay, and then you give them opportunity to talk. What is it that is making them come late? Areas that they can find adjustment. But when you tell me you always come late, you have already put me before the jury. You have condemned me. There's nothing I'm so why are you surprised that I'm coming late? There's no conversation that can exist. There's no communication that can exist there because you've already condemned me. But if you tell me this is what you're doing, this lateness, this is how it makes me feel. This is what it does to me when you don't arrive on time. Is there something we can do about it? And guess what? Even if you have that conversation, they may still come late the following day. But you know you've had the conversation. You know they are probably assured you and made a commitment that they're going to do something about. So when they come late the following day, your response is different because there's an ongoing update in that area. So the point I am making is, do not run away from conflict. Conflict has come to make you bond better. See, it's your perspective to that conflict. I have used, let me tell you, personal experience. The first few years of my marriage, the quarrels, I come from a polygamous home. My wife comes from a monogamous home. So there was plenty filters, Mommy Mo. Hi. You don't share your stuff. if my wife coughs in Lagos, her dad will hear in Abeokuta. If I cough inside my room in Lagos, if they hear by the next door, there's a problem. So I was very secretive, and she was tell it all. So we're having a lot of disagreement. So, but then because of the things that I've subjected myself to, and the fact that I like to write, so whenever we quarrel like that, I write about it. My writing helps me understand a perspective. I have 30 conflict stories of our marriage that are on Amazon. I'm making money from our conflicts because I put it into a book. See, I started writing, I started getting better in how to treat her and understand her, to a point whereby we went for a month and we didn't really have any major quarrel. And I needed another chapter for the book. And I'm like, baby, we need to, what is going on? As in, I need a new chapter. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you the truth. That was how I treated conflict until the devil, quote and unquote, devil feel this is bad market. This is just bad market. This is a no-go area. Supposing I had a different perspective of conflict, and sincerely speaking, the understanding, the intimacy, the bond that I share with my wife right now is because I opened my eyes, I opened my mind to learning, to seeing those disagreements as an opportunity for me to grow in certain areas, as an opportunity for me to learn how to treat my wife better. That whatever is 6 to me may be 9 to her, and 9 and 6 can coexist. That was what changed. See, if you check my lineage, you can count on 2 fingers those who are still married. And my father did 9 wives. So the possibility, the chances that I should not be in a marriage is high. But I changed my perspective and uninstalled certain filters and tendencies that were not going to help me. The point I'm making is, even if it's just tonight, change your perspective about quarrel. When you see quarrel, just say, an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow. What is it that this is showing me an area in my life that I do not have so much knowledge about. So let me sit with my partner and let us have conversation and let me see from their perspective. And when you see from their perspective, what do? You click updates, just like you get notifications on your phone that will tell you there is a notification update. You can ignore and you can click updates. Many times, if you continue to ignore, after a while, that app will crash or it will not function. So your marriage app sends you notifications on a regular basis. Stop clicking ignore. Click updates. So it might be something that you need to apply yourself to understand better. You may not really have all the tools at the moment, but when you click updates, it will start streaming from 0 and it's going to 100. It can stream from 0 to 25 in less than 30 seconds. And it gets to 25 and it's taking long before it gets to 30. But the fact remains that you can still use the phone. There's an update going on in the background. So we can still chit chat and talk, but there's an update going on. There are certain changes that we're making in the background. I'm getting to do better in this area. And so it may not just be 100% immediately. So let us learn. How do we navigate these phases? How do we navigate these quarrels? Embrace conflict. Embrace conflict. They are not meant. If you look at it in another approach, they can separate 2 people. In fact, if there's divorce, if there's separation, it's because they say irreconcilable differences. It's conflict. But the same conflict that sent 2 people apart is the same conflict some people used to grow. So you choose.
Wow. Thank you very much, Juwon. I love the way you responded to that question, because this is one of the major things. And I'm seeing a question in the chat that is coming in that direction. But as a counseling psychologist, from what Juwon has said, you are the creator of your reality. And you can't rush into it. You can't continue to assume. You can't hope it. You can't pray it out if you're not intentional with the journey. And that's the summary of what Juwon has said. But we want to see your hands up. Then we go into the questions. Juwon, I will tell your wife you are using your story to cash money on Amazon.
My sister. Man, I was looking for conflict at a point. I'm not even kidding, because I'm like, I need to write. But then,
Imagine. Look at him
You
changing
know,
the perspective. You see. Thank you, Mami Mo. Please, yeah,
I needed to say this. People, you've just got to get used to conflict. I mentioned earlier that in September this year, I'll be 40 years married. Myself and my husband still have conflict on a regular basis. Is it that we haven't gotten to know one another? We know one another pretty well, but we are still blindsided because the world is changing and new things happen to us and we're doing new seasons. I told one of my clients one time, because he happened to come to me at a time when myself and my husband were married for 38 years and we had just had a blowout. When I say a blowout, it was a blowout that me and him did not talk to one another, I think, for about 2 weeks. And you would think that people who have been married for 38 years, by now, they have reached promised land, everything is okay. What caused the conflict at that time was something that had to do with the fact that our children were now adults, and the way I felt that we should parent adult children was different from the way that my husband felt we should parent adult children. I was having the perspective of parenting that came from where I was coming from. My husband was having the perspective. We had never had adult children before. So that conflicts could not have come earlier in our marriage. And when it hit us really well. What helped us is that what Juwon just shared and which I had shared earlier, which is what? You must approach conflict not as this person wants to step on my toes. You must, Stephen Covey said, seek to understand before seeking to be understood. How many of us are wired is understand me, understand me, understand me. If you understood me, this is what you will do, which is okay. Is that a bad desire? No. But the question is the person on the other side too is doing understand me, understand me. The only place I differ from Gary Chapman on his book, The 5 Love Languages, is that he taught us that this is our love language and we should be trying to help our partner to understand it. Great. But when your partner has lived 35 years before meeting you, and this is the way they have been showing love, you will buy yourself a lot of peace if you actually make your primary duty understanding how they are currently showing love. Because that love that you are craving, they're already showing it to you. It's just that they're showing it in the way that they're familiar with it. This is the question you want to go home with. How long does it take a human being to change? So somebody has been this way for 30, 35 years. They now meet you. You have one conversation, 2 conversations, 3 conversations, and you are now lamenting they will not do. When I married my husband and he took me to the Anglican church, I was very suspicious of them. Why? Because I was thinking to myself, these people that pray, they read their prayers from the book. I was lucky to have a vicar who said, okay, Dupe, you don't have to become an Anglican. Go and buy the Book of Common Prayer. Read it for yourself. Be coming to service. If you have any question, ask me. The reason I settled into the Anglican church and stopped complaining was because I finally happened on 39 articles of religion. And I saw that everything that I believed as a Baptist is actually the fundamentals of the Anglican church. And so I settled in. If I never had that understanding, I'll be peering at my husband. And, in fact, when I first married him and we started going to the Anglican church, I thought, Dupe, you have entered one chance. You're on the expressway to hell. So conflict is something that I'm reading the questions. These minor conflicts that you are having and you are not able to resolve. I give you homework. Just go to ChatGPT or go to Google and just say, what steps should I take to live with somebody who has a different perspective on life from me? Because all of what is happening in your marriage to a large extent is just that you are looking at life from different places. That is the skill you need. That is the toolbox you need to go and look for. Once you begin to educate yourself in that direction, you'd be amazed that a lot of the things that you are thinking is making your world to fall apart now will just calm down and you'll be going on merrily. Thank you, Ebu, for letting me step in there.
Thank you very much, Mommy Mo, for that contribution. Blessing, do you want to take the question? And at this point, I want to say that I feel very sorry for as many as are going through a difficult situation in their marriage. And it seems as if, oh, it's the end of it all. The truth is, it's not the end of it all. If you're paying attention to the conversation so far, then you know that it is not the end of it all. I, at this point, want to say that at the office, we have the marital checkup. You might want to sign up to it. Admin, please drop the link. The admin will share the link right now. You know, we all do yearly checkup, body checkup, and all that. But we don't pay attention to this very important checkup that is necessary. And that is our marital checkup. It is very important. You want to subscribe to the marital checkup, and this is going to be given to you at a good price. So you want to click on that link. The admin has dropped the link. To check your marital. By the time you fill this form, we'll take you through some process that can help you solve some of the problem. Blessing, you want to take the questions that we have from the audience. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, Mommy Mo. Thank you very much, John. Mommy Mo, while you were speaking, one of the audience asked this question, said, my question, man, in a relationship where your partner does things or says things that doesn't agree with your values, like criticizing people and even the leadership of the church you both belong to. And when you want to, he wants you to be on the same page and agree with him. If you disagree, he thinks you are a rebellious woman or you are not ready for marriage and always tries to shut you up. That's one of the questions, Mom.
You're muted now.
I'm wondering what that person actually wants us to do. I think the real answer to your question is for you to sign up for that marital health check that was talked about. If you listen to what I said earlier, is he criticizing you? Yes. Should he criticize you? No. However, what is at the root of the perspectives that he is having? What are the experiences that have led him to believe such things about the church? That's what I'm saying. You are just looking the immediate conversation. We are saying, look behind the scene. Look behind the scene. So that's one. Two, if you say he's attacking things that is your value, what I'm going to say may sound a bit harsh. However, if you want change, it is something that you've got to really take in. It may take you time to accept it. Everyone who is currently married, the person you have is a choice that you made. So that you have that person is a reflection of who you are. Why is it important for you to accept that? If you don't accept that responsibility for arriving at where you are now, you will not accept responsibility for doing something about it. So if you look at yourself and say, how did I end up marrying somebody whose values are very different from my own? Then you know that, okay, it must mean that there is something I don't know. The question is, that's something you don't know. That template you use that made you arrive at that place, have you updated it, as Juwon said? Have you even explored it and say, what is it? What do I need to do differently? When you do that, the next thing, this homework I gave you, please take it seriously. Go to ChatGPT. I think that's your best bet. Google will help you, but I think ChatGPT will do better. Just type in the question. How do I live with somebody who sees life differently from me? What steps should I take? When he gives you answers, interrogate it because you are wanting to learn. The real thing that is happening now, many people don't know it. I've lived for 40 years with a man who doesn't go to church, and I'm a fervent Christian, and we are happy, and we are not knocking one another's head. He said, don't go to night vigil. In 40 years, I've not gone to night vigil. But I assure you, more prayers have been answered for me than the prayers of the people who go to night vigil. Why? Because cultural practice is not always cultural value. The challenge is that we have many practices that we are equating to value. And when you now take a practice and you say it is a value, you will feel a need to fight for it with your life. When I found myself in the situation I found myself in, I started to read the Bible at home. So if you see me that I'm a fine Christian now, I told myself, Dupe, you can look at this as your husband is oppressing you, or you can imagine that you are a missionary and you have no church to go to. I chose to look at it as a missionary, and that was the end of the problem. Because if I were a missionary, I would not have a congregation of people to worship with. I would not have a pastor to go to. I would just have to be the people I'll be meeting every day are heathen people. And I learned to live with it that way. So question number one, remember that this person that you have now, you chose them. If you are not happy with the choice, it simply means that whatever decision-making template you are using at that time is not the right type of decision-making template you should have. You now know. Instead of fighting your husband, can you look at that template, examine it, assess it, review it? But the key skill you need is, how do you live? Because I don't know anybody who you will marry who will see life exactly as you see it. I don't.
That was deep.
Very deep, very, very deep. Even me, I'm taking notes right now.
That was deep. Thank you so much, Mommy Mo. This is 50-something years of experience. Please let us pay attention. PF dropped something in the chat box, and I want to read it. He said, we underestimate the powers we have to enjoy our lives, regardless of the situation. Remember what I said earlier, you are the creator of your reality. You have the power to enjoy your life, regardless of what's happening around you. Blessing over to you.
Thank you, Mommy Mo. We are learning a lot. I did feel at the beginning that we have wisdom at our disposal. We have the opportunity to milk Mommy so that she can tell us all the things we need to, so that we go home with this bank of knowledge. Mommy, someone asked another question. What if you have a partner who lies a lot, and even after holding a conversation, he repeats the act that brought the argument immediately?
Asking a question, using a situation that I actually use as illustration when I'm doing premarital counseling. I always say this: who is the easiest person to deceive in this world? The easiest person to deceive is somebody who grew up in a community where everybody tells the truth. What that means is that when they now go out of that community, when people talk to them, they will just believe. They're not believing because they think the people are honest. They're believing because they have been conditioned to believe that everybody who speaks the truth. And so it takes them a time to become somebody who now says, no, I should not be believing everything that. When I have said that, the next thing I then say is this: if somebody grows up in a place where they got punished for telling the truth, And the only way they have to protect themselves from punishment, which they don't deserve, is to lie. What happens to them? They become somebody who, once they see themselves in a situation where if they tell the truth, they will be hurt, or, they just become somebody who lies to protect themselves. Now, is dishonesty good? No, we're not saying so. But what we're saying, and many of you are practitioners here, is that you need to understand that the person you are dealing with, many things made them who they are. The instant reaction that most people will have to somebody who lies repeatedly is to scold them, to get angry with them, and all of those things. And that is, that's just a normal human reaction. But when you begin to see somebody defending a position that it is obvious even to them that is not true, it's a sign to you that there are deeper issues. When we keep saying you need to see a counselor, we are collecting money, yes, but it's not because of the money, it's because of things like this that we have now seen. So to that person who has such a partner, first, you've got to slow down. You've got to calm down. You've got to calm down and begin to ask yourself, where did this person grow up? How do they relate with their siblings? What kind of dynamics were happening there? And then, you reassure them that, look, I prefer that you tell me the truth. It will make me angry, and I will do. And when they begin to take small steps, so if you want the person to tell you truth 100%, and the person tells you truth 5%, the normal reaction is, there you go again, 95% is still untrue. And then the person will feel unsafe. You have to look at that 5% and say, you see, I'm happy. Even this 5% that you told me, I'm happy. This is the way I want you to be doing. There are questions sometimes that people ask in a meeting like this, and it's good for us to be honest with you. Anybody who tries to give this lady an answer to our question in this meeting is deceiving her. Why? We need to know the behind the scenes of this question, the context. There are many questions in a counseling room that we will ask you, even if that your husband does not come with you, that will help you to understand what is going on and will give you the wisdom to handle the matter and bring about change.
Thank you very much, Mommy Mo. That's a beautiful way to respond to that question. And at this point, I want to announce again that if you need this session, the marital checkup session, you want to click on the link. Please drop the link again. And the other thing is we have a book written by Grace Forward, Unbroken. Unbroken is one other powerful tool that can help you. A lot of what we are talking about here and some other things are written in that book, and they can help you. Then the counseling, the marital checkup will help you unearth some of the deep-rooted. Mommy who was saying something about somebody who was lying. Can you imagine where she took it to? Like, where was she raised? Where was that person raised? How was that person raised? What were the experiences that person went through that now the ripple effect is now this lie and trying to cover up and all that? So for everything, and we always say it here, for everything, for who you have become, for who I have become, it's as a result of our upbringing, the significant emotional experiences of life, and the environment where we grew up from. You want to check all this before you conclude on your partner, because it is very, very important. The marital checkup will help you understand this. The book Unbroken will also help you. If you're interested in the book, please send a direct message to me and we'll find out how to get it across to you. Thank you very much. Blessing, do you have more questions? At this point, I want us to go into that area of self-awareness because we are moving towards it now. So I don't know, Blessing, what's the question so that Juwon will start with our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for the beautiful response. Now, looking at the power of self-awareness and self-love, Juwon, coming to you on that before we get to Mommy More. What role does self-awareness play in choosing and sustaining a partner?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, okay. I mean, I believe self-awareness is foundational, really. I was speaking with a group of young persons on Sunday, and the topic they gave me was identifying the right one. And when I saw that topic, I laughed. They said identifying the right one. You can see how what self-awareness is playing in that topic. So I got to that meeting. I mean, quite a number of them. I said, how many people here are trying to identify the right one? And all of them raised their hands. So, and it was a church meeting, and all of them raised their hands that they were trying to identify the right one. So I asked, so if you're trying to identify the right one, so does it mean that you already believe that you're the right one, looking for the right one? And the answers were affirmative. And so if I say, then I checked again that, so if everybody here believes they are the right one, so is the wrong person in this place? And then they were looking at me stunned. Because a lot of times we're trying to look for the right person rather than being the right person. So the question is the person you're looking for you? Is the person that you're looking for, is the person looking for you? If they put you on a relationship or marriage shelf, would you approach you and ask you to marry you? So, and what that means is that if you can, rather than turn that flashlight on externals and looking for people, can you flash it and turn it back to yourself and look at whether you are whole and check whether you have accepted yourself, what and all, whether you are ready, whether you understand what your strengths and your weaknesses are, so that when you see another person thrive in a thing that you are not strong in, you can easily be okay because you know there are other areas that you are also strong at. So self-awareness is foundational. A flourishing marriage starts with you. It's not with the other person. In fact, I even dare say a thriving or a flourishing marriage doesn't start with God. It starts with you. It starts with you. Whether you're ready, whether you're self-aware. And self-awareness has to do with, do you know you? Have you accepted? Do you love you? It's not that you're perfect, but do you love you? What and all? Do you understand the tendencies you have? Do you know, have you subjected yourself to healing for those traumatic situations that you've been through? Can you allow a doctor to check the wounds and the pains that you have and make them heal? Because a struggling person joining to a whole person cannot make a whole marriage. A struggling person and another struggling person will create chaos in the marriage. It's two whole people that will make a flourishing marriage. So don't think that you're going to marriage and then the person that you're going with is going to be the one that will fix you, because marriage is not a therapy room. Marriage was not designed to fix you. Your partner was not designed or wired to, in fact, they have not even finished fixing themselves. So it's you they will come to. Have I finished sorting myself out? All the issues that I'm still dealing with. Have I? So you are looking for somebody that will now fix you. So are you self-aware? Do you know you? So that if certain tendencies begin to display themselves in that relationship and in that marriage, you will know that this is really not about my partner. This is just me. So self-awareness will mean understanding you, accepting you, loving you. And if you identify areas that need medication, and medication, I don't mean medical, I mean counseling, therapy. If you identify areas that you need somebody to look into, that you are humble enough, you put your pride in your pocket as a guy and you say, please, I need help in this area. regardless of who the partner or who the person you want to be with is, that I need help in this area. I don't want to go into a relationship or go into a marriage and sabotage it and then be blaming another person for it. So because a lot of times we are busy, I mean, when we're even talking about conflict, a lot of times you're just looking at if this person can just be like this, if this person can just do this, if this person can just, if my spouse can just be like this, can you just even check with you and say, like Mommy Mo said, how do I live? So that is putting the focus back on you. How do I respond? How do I treat a situation like this? What am I? Supposing this person is not going to change for life. So what will happen to me? Supposing this habit that I see in them is not going to be different in the next 25 years. So what will I do? When you begin to think like that, you will look inward and begin to change certain things and do certain. And guess what? Because I've seen this work a number of times. When you begin to do that, many times, the changes you begin to experience and undergo begin to reflect on the other person, and they can begin to even work on themselves. That happens sometimes. So, but first and foremost, when your preoccupation is to change your partner, I don't think you're on the right path right there. So self-awareness is knowing you, accepting you, loving you. Are you whole? Are you ready? Or have you areas that you found that you need help in? Can you allow the doctor to look at you and treat it? Yeah. So it's foundational, basically. For people that are going into a marriage, into a relationship, and those that are even in a relationship, if there are tendencies in you right now, even though you are 10 years gone in that marriage, allow somebody to look at it. Allow somebody to treat it. And let us drop this mindset of thinking, no, how will I go and see a therapist? No, I'm okay, I'm fine. I mean, are you okay with your life at the moment? All right.
Thank you, Juwon. That hit the nail there. There's this what you said. You said you go into marriage sabotaging it. Now, coming to mommy, this aspect of not loving ourselves enough, not loving yourself enough, going into relationship and sabotaging with the blame games and blaming another person for it. Mommy, why is self-love not selfish but necessary in relationship if one must try? Because this is one aspect. We talk about self-awareness a lot, and we do a lot of things that at the end of the day, you are the one destroying your marriage with some of the attitude or some actions or the fact that you are self-sabotaging. So why is self-love so important, and how can we navigate relationship with this?
Great question, Blessing. Thank you. If you have gone into an airplane before, when they settle us in and they shut the airplane doors, then the cabin executives come and they say a lot of things, but then they will say, if cabin pressure drops, oxygen mask like this will fall down. And then they will say, put your own. And then they will say, if you have an infant, it is still your own that you should put on first. Why do they tell us that? When we are in situations of crisis or any life situation, we are wired to look out for people who we think are weaker than us. That's the reason why many people in their partners, whether they're married or not, tend to feel that this is not right about my person. They criticize, they try to correct. Now, the thing is this: what is self-love? If you are in that airplane and you have a baby, if you allow your love for that baby to overcome you and you start struggling to put on the mask on the face of the baby and you go unconscious, that baby has died. So even though it doesn't look wise for you to carry a 6-month-old baby or a 2-year-old toddler and not put their own mask on for them first, putting your own mask is self-love. Yes, it's saving you. But it is only when you are now able to exist in that cabin where the pressure has dropped that you can help yourself, that you can help a baby, that you can help a toddler, that you can help a grandma or a grandpa. If you don't do that one for yourself first, you can't help anybody else. That is what self-love is. So self-love is not saying I ignore your own needs, and so on and so forth. As a practitioner, for example, people come to me with crisis and, they are texting me, please, ma, can we speak to you right away? And I'm saying to them, I'm sorry, I will not be able to speak to you until Monday. I'm not a wicked person. That crisis you have, unless it's a matter of life and death, I've spoken to couples all through the week. I'm exhausted myself. That's the reason why I have closing hour. Closing hour is self-love. Choosing not to do sessions at night because it's just me and my husband is self-love. It doesn't mean that your problem is not big, but there are things I need to do so that I will be able to be good to you and support you and do a lot of things. So for example, even in my own home, there are days I will say to my husband, Bonnie, please, we have to eat early this evening because I am tired and I want to go. And if he's not ready to eat, I will package the food and put it in the cooler and leave it there and go and sleep. Why? I'm a human being with limitations. Self-love is taking care of yourself so that you can then be a good partner, a good parent, a good worker, a good whatever else it is that it means paying attention to what is happening in you and taking care. And before I go, I want to say something about self-awareness. I think there is a bit of self-awareness that we also, and I'm going to just use one illustration, especially if we have single people here. If you are a 28-year-old and you know that all your life, your parents have been screaming, over our dead body, will you marry somebody from another tribe? And you have never sat down with them to say, Papa and Mama, what is this? And you have ironed it out and you then tell them that, see, if you say it's over your dead body, I will actually cross over your dead body and marry this person. You need to know yourself to that extent. If you have not done that, what business do you have to go and be toasting somebody who is from that tribe? That is not having self-awareness. So apart from the other important things that Juwon has said, even in ordinary day-to-day life. So if you're somebody who already knows the sky is the limit, I'm going to do PhD and everything, self-awareness is what makes you look at somebody who does not think a person should do a PhD and say, this person has good character, they are an angel from heaven, everything about them is good, but they are not for me. So you need to know yourself in such practical ways. And if you're single, you need to know yourself, because when you are then talking to people, how much you know of yourself. In family systems engineering, we say you should do your user manual. How much when that your user manual is doing like this, can you imagine you went and bought an iron that they say that you should use with 220 volts. You now plug it to 110 volts. You're on your own. That's what self-awareness is for you. And you will see that it's tied to self-love. So if you say no to someone because of something that is there and clear to you, you are not wickeding them, as we say in Nigeria. You're just looking at yourself. Juwon said marriage is going to be for the next 50 to 60 years. And let me add this, you can divorce, but the scar of that decision that you took will forever be present in your life.
Wow. Thank you, Mommy Mo. Dr. Ebu, please, do you have anything you want to say or to ask or to add or to ask Mommy Mo?
Thank you very much, Mommy Mo and Juwon. Thank you so much for this beautiful exposition. I am seeing in the chat section people asking questions, saying that I'm dating someone, we have the same values. but the person has anger issues, what do you advise and all that? I know that, I don't know, Mommy Mo and Juwon, I want you to respond to that question. And I think there's another one. Said, is it bad to inform your partner that you need to see a counselor? Juwon, I want you to respond to that question in particular. Mommy Mo will respond to the other one. While we're trying to round this up, it's becoming overwhelming. And the truth of the matter is we can't answer all questions here. The truth is we can't answer all questions here. Momo talked about therapy. I was going to share a story. Momo also talked about, how we go into marriage. And that was why I said what I said the other time, that I'm sorry as many as are going through challenges in their marriage. It's not easy, but you want to pause and ask yourself some of the questions. Momo said use ChatGPT and you will see. Because a lot of us, we came into marriage with baggage, right? You came into that marriage with your baggage, your husband came into the marriage with baggage. And so, to have a peaceful one, you need help. Juwon said it, seek help, professional help. All of us, by the time we're going into it, they just do one crash program for us. They just did the crash program and we were not asked detailed questions. And the truth of the matter is some of those things are backfiring now. The questions they're supposed to ask us now, then. But you still have the opportunity, and that's what we're saying you can go for marital checkup. And the book of Broken is available. But Juwon, I want you to respond to that question while I take
I think that question is a simple one to answer. He said, is it bad? It cannot be bad to inform your partner that you need to see a counselor. I mean, but maybe more information can also be provided. Are you married? Are you intending to get married? So there are people who, I think a large percentage of us men somehow, it's something that we're still working on with all the men fora that are coming up, because I don't know why we find it difficult to submit ourselves to counseling. So a lot of times you see the women in the counseling room, but the person that possibly even needs more help is at home watching TV. But you see, when it comes to counseling, maybe I should just use this illustration, maybe it will pass across the message. For those who love sports, you will see, and you probably watch Premier League or La Liga or whichever league, and if a team is playing another team, another football club by today is Friday, tomorrow, for instance, they probably have been training all week, and then the coach will have told them the formation and the strategy they're going to use to play Man United. Let me use Man United. Let me pull Praise legs. The strategy they're going to use. They even won their match yesterday 3-2 with 10 men. Hallelujah. Anyways, let me go on. So the coach will have told them all that they need to do in order to make sure that they win the match. But I realized that after all that training, after all that discussion and formation and strategy, they come to the football field and that coach is standing by that field till the end of the match. One would think, you've told us what we need to do. We've done the training all week. You should probably be in your house watching TV and just watch the match from home. But he will still stand there and be dishing out instructions until the end of the match. Why is that? Because whatever it is that I told you before the match started, we can get to the field of play and I see that the team comes with another angle. And so I'm saying, you that is playing fullback now, go to the front, or let us just do a counter attack, or formation can change during the field of play. And that is why it is important that you have such system around you in your marriage. If there's anybody or any partner or any spouse that somebody that is not accountable to anybody, that's a danger right there. My wife has a number on her phone that she can use if I misbehave today. She has a number on her phone that she can use. You see, for the number of years that I've been married, she has never used that number. You know why? It's not because I'm that good. I behave immediately because I know there's a number that exists. The awareness of that number make me sit up. And you see, still using that the football league, for instance, there were lots of errors before now. Several years ago, somebody will score a goal that is offside, and then it will be counted, and another team will win a match that is not fair. And then they brought VAR, video assistant referee. That today now, you cannot do anything on the field of play. Even if the referee does not see it, there is somebody who sees it and will call the match back. And that your BS will be fixed. In your relationship and marriage, you need a VAR. Somebody that you are accountable to. Somebody that if you hear their name, you'll be like, they'll say, I want to see you 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. By yourself, you are doing confession before you get out of the house. Every relationship needs accountability. So counseling or counselors provide you that kind of system that if anything is going wrong, they are like guardrails. If anything is going wrong, they help you contain the damage before you destroy yourself or destroy what you're trying to build. So if you're asking, is it bad? There is absolutely no, even us that are speaking right now, we have systems in place where we get counsel, where we get help when we need it. Because even helpers need help. There's nobody that knows it all. You see, when we subject ourselves even to programs like this, it's an opportunity to also learn. It's an opportunity to get help. So even in this place now that we have spent almost 2 hours right now, we've learned. Counsel has been given. So don't be in a place, don't be in a relationship, be wary of his marriage that there's no accountability. There's nobody that can call you to order. You can just do anything you want to do and nobody can question you about it. Abba, that's dangerous. So counseling helps. So if you want to ask your partner, you can, Ebon has been talking about the link that you can use, the marital health check link that you can take. Subject yourself to counseling. You will discover a lot of things that you're not aware of. And then it will help you for the next 10, 15 years of your life. So you don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. And there are people that are being trained that have the skill to be able to look at you, just like you go to a doctor and will figure out what is wrong with you. There are people that are trained like that can figure out what is going on, what you need to do, and provide you tools so that you can solve the problem. So, counseling anytime, any day, you should be open to it.
Wow, thank you, John. I believe the person that asked the question has gotten a response there. Counseling anytime, any day. And Mommy Mo.
Sorry, Blessing, before you pass the mic to Bobby Mo, Juwon, I also want you to balance it because looking at the question, the person said to tell your partner. Is it that you are telling your partner, you're making your partner? Because if you are a lady that wrote this question, the manner with which you're going to tell your partner is also very important. You don't want to make the partner feel like, yeah, the person is the bad one here, So it's a thing that the two of you need to attend to. And so you also need to know the manner at which you are introducing the counseling session or program to your partner. I think I should add that to it. Please
that's a good balance. That's a good balance. Nothing to add.
Yeah, Blessing.
Okay. Mommy, the other question that was put up, Dr. Ibu said you would be the one to answer. So please, Mommy, we want you to respond to that. I'm trying to see how I could get back to the question here. I'm trying to get Dr. Ibu, please. Did you still get the exact?
Sorry, I'm joining from another device now. My system just went off. Okay. So I can't see the...
Okay, let me read the question. If I have someone I'm dating and our values align, or he or she has anger issues, is it advisable to leave such relationship because of the anger issues? You're muted, ma'am.
Great questions. Values aligning is one thing. If they have anger issues, should you leave them? I can't answer that immediately. If you say to them, wow, this relationship is good, I see that you have these issues, I think that you should get help with it. If they are open to getting help and they go to get help and you see visible changes, that is good. If they say, what do you mean? Who are you to be telling me to change, and so on and so forth. Anger issues, like lying issues, show that there is a lot that is behind the scene. You don't want to go on into a relationship that is that way. But I'm going to add this caveat. Please, many of these questions that you come to ask in fora like this, if you ask them and people give you answers, they are misleading you. These are questions that people need to ask. I mean, if you were with me now, I can think already of 5 questions that I would ask you. And why am I asking those questions? I'm trying to understand the context of your relationship. If I don't have that context and I give you a generic response, I can give you a response that will make you stay with somebody you ought to leave. I can give you a response that will make you throw away somebody who you could have ended up with and had a good relationship with. And so, if I'm going to say anything, there are lots of programs now. They have told you about marital health check. See, people of my community who are listening to us, the world has changed. That's the reason why you need to do some of these things now. Yeah. Your grandfather and your parents didn't need to do it. Many of the things that you are facing now, they didn't face it. You cannot be using the method they used at that time to live in today's world. Since you've not continued using firewood, you are not fetching water from the well, then you are not going to do your marriage too, like the people who are using firewood to cook and fetching water from the well.
And if I may just add to what Mommy Mo said, you see, this person who says that if he or she has anger issues, how did you even arrive there? As in, are you a doctor who has already diagnosed this person and concluded that you have anger issues? So to answer from here may not be helpful to you. So you probably need to click on that link, and so that you can get a more elaborate and robust response to that question. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mommy Mo, and thank you, Juwon. It's been an amazing and interesting session with you guys. We should have a comeback because we are not able to touch all the areas that we're supposed to touch, and the time is fast spent. I want to ask that the admin for a quick response, or like a 911, the number you can call. Admin, please drop the office number in the chat so that people can reach out. Click on the link. Then we have the book Unbroken. These are resources that we have made available. You can also reach out to Juwon and Mommy Mo. Juwon, you might want to drop your contact, your WhatsApp number. Mommy Mo, you also want to drop your WhatsApp number. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Blessing, for that beautiful anchoring. We should be rounding up now, but before we round up, I want to also mention that at the beginning, I said something about the Center for Sex Education as our CSR. We try to give back to the society. And as we do this, we have different practitioners that volunteers with us. We also have children we assist in secondary school. You know, we go to secondary school to talk about sex education and all that. And with that, we need support. And so we look forward to you supporting us and contributing your quota as we help people out there in supporting them to solve some of their mental and emotional issues. The admin will drop a number that you can reach out to, and you can also drop the office account details that people can, because we need support to continue to doing this. March 8th is the International Women's Day. And this year, we are observing it in a different way by supporting 3 ladies from the Sunshine Hub community. These are women who are vibrant, who are strong, but they found themselves at the other side of marriage, and that is divorce. So we want to support these women because it's International Women's Day. The admin will drop the details of support. Please, I'm begging, support us on this journey. Let us come together to help people. I just told you 2 projects. We are looking forward to going to secondary schools during the Children's Day. That's May 27th. And the other one is the International Women's Day, which is in March, the 8th of March, 2025. So we look forward to you supporting our cause as we help the world. All we do, part of our objective is to ensure that there is peace in our society. And we are doing it one person at a time. And we look forward to you supporting us. Thank you very much, Mommy Mo and Juwon. I want to ask that you give us your last words as we round up, and Blessing will take over as we round up. Yes. Juwon, what do you have to say? We have said a lot about what is love, and I love the perspective. I love where we have ended it. And we have also said that conversation cannot be taken in 2 hours. It's a lot. But as it is, what do you have to say as your last words and advice?
Maybe I'll just put it this way, that a healthy relationship is not about 2 halves making a whole. It's about 2 whole people choosing to grow together. A healthy relationship is not about 2 halves making a whole. It's about 2 whole people choosing to grow together. Thank you.
That's a deep one. 2 whole people choosing to do it together. Mommy Mo said something. He said, it's on social media. Divorce. It's not working. I want to go. There are consequences to all our choices, and you can ask me. I know what it is if you decide to go in that direction. Thank you very much, Juwon. Wholeness. And it takes intentionality to go on that path. Thank you very much once again, Juwon, for joining us tonight. Mommy Mo, I yield the mic to you.
All right, then. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I'm going to leave you with the words of Napoleon Hill. In every adversity, there is a seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. In every adversity, there is a seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. When you look at your marriage now, those things that you think, oh, life is falling apart, and so on and so forth, if you search inside it, it's an opportunity for you to grow as a person. If you leave that relationship, you're going to meet another person who is still a wounded person. The growth that you did not grow, which made you leave that relationship, what you're going to come back to.
Wow. Family meeting. What do you say to our guests? I want to see the thank you buzzing in the chat session. Blessing, I yield the mic to you to close up the meeting. Thank you very much. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Tonight has been power-packed. Tonight, we've unwrapped the layers of love. And I want to believe that everyone on this call has understood what love is. And from now on, we'll go and practice and make a change and do it differently. Is it about doing a check? If you're having issues, we'll go and have that check done. relationship and marriage is no longer done the way we used to do it. It has been a wonderful moment with Mommy Mo and Juwon. And Dr. Ibu, it has been wonderful co-hosting this with you. Thank you everyone for being on this call. We appreciate and we love you. We hope to see you again in our next family meeting. This is not just a meeting, but this is a movement. So we look forward to seeing you in the next one. We love and appreciate your effort and do well to tell a friend, inform somebody about this. The replay link about this meeting is out there, so share it. Spread the news, help a sister, get someone to know and make their marriage better. We appreciate you. And from this end, we say good night and we hope to see you in the family meeting March edition. And thank you